I went to college in England. It was the first time I'd left the country, certainly the first time I lived outside the country. And people talked about this idea of culture shock. I didn't have it. I didn't have it at all going to England. I was, expecting it to be different, and it is, and it was wonderful. And I
Hmm.
never had any kind of culture shock. I was there that first trip for a solid year before I came back to America.
Oh, wow.
And the culture shock happened when I came back because I was used to what was going on over there. And I came back, the culture shock of, wow, the cars are so much bigger, the roads, the lanes are wider, all this. But here's where the culture shock was the most prominent for me. It was maybe the day or the day after I got back, a year in England. And when I was there, I was cooking and I was living and so forth, just like anyone else. I come back and I'm back in Atlanta and I'm at a grocery store here. Okay. Typical grocery store in the States. And I specifically remember I'm on an aisle to buy salad dressing. Now, in the grocery store in England, there might have been two, maybe three different types of salad dressing to choose from. And I come back to America and there's an aisle full of salad dressing,
Hmm.
30 feet wide. There's different brands, there's different flavors, there's different sizes, there's different prices. And I stood there looking, and it's taller than I am, and going for who knows how many minutes, just with my mouth open, like, how am I supposed to pick one? How am I supposed to pick one? I don't know what to do. That was the culture shock. And sometimes too many choices works against us. And they've even done research to when it comes to marketing, they found sometimes if you give a consumer too many options, they end up not buying anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there's like the sweet spot of enough options and possibilities, but not too many where the consumer gets overwhelmed and says, forget it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. This idea of like the big box store is a very American thing. And it's so interesting because every time so I have family that lives in the UK or family that lives in India or, anywhere else, or people who come to visit from a Latin American country or something like that. And the thing that they notice is the size of our cars, the size of our roads, and the size of our stores. It's crazy. I remember my cousin who's from the UK, she came over a few months back and she was like, "I just can't believe how big the cars are here." I'm like, "Well, we've got a lot of big families." She's like, "No, we have cars that seat 6 and 7 people and they are nowhere near the size of your minivan." And I'm like, she's like, "You can't even call this a minivan. This is like what an express van would like a delivery van looks like in the UK." But everything is so much wider and open. And one time I remember going to the grocery store and just going down the wine aisle to get wine for dinner and having someone be from another country just looking at it and going, "How could you ever select a wine from all of this?" And I was like, "Well, easy. You pick from the middle two shelves because the top shelf is stuff you can't afford. The bottom shelf tastes like prison water. So you just pick from the middle two shelves and you're good to go." And she's like, "But why do you have the bottom and the top shelf?" So yeah, it's our level of choice. I mean, I like it. I like new things and I like to be able to choose between things, but it can really be difficult. And I think the internet, do you remember? I mean, when you didn't want to go out before, I don't know, even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if you didn't want to go out, your choices were pizza or if you had a Chinese food place that delivered.
That's right.
Like, that's all we had. And if
That's
there's
right.
any kids watching this, they're thinking, "What are you talking about?" But like, you couldn't get any restaurant on the planet. So I live out in this kind of not the sticks, but kind of the sticks. When we moved out here in 2017, it's not like we had Uber Eats. We didn't even have DoorDash out here. I remember I worked in Atlanta, so I could get Uber Eats or DoorDash in Atlanta for lunch. But you come out here, you can't get that kind of thing. You got to go to a store and pick it up. So there was no, but now we've just exploded in this idea of convenience culture. You can get DoorDash in the middle of nowhere now. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it sometimes can work against us because, especially for me living alone, if I'm not careful, without even realizing it, perhaps I can become so isolated because
Mm.
everything arrives at my doorstep within minutes, fresh produce, frozen groceries, restaurant food, you name it, anything and everything is at my door within minutes. What do I even have to leave the house for? And the problem is the answer is nothing other than community, friendship, having some interactions face to face with people. And that's something that you can't substitute. You can't replace that.